Hi and welcome. It gives me enormous pleasure to bring you this gorgeous oracle set by Lucy Cavendish, a wonderful author. Did you know the very first tarot oracle deck was first published in Hay House? Lucy Cavendish. So this is on the Blue Angel Publishing, and this is FOXFIRE the KITSUNE. So in Japanese philosophy, the Kitsune fox is a being that has been around for a long time. They transform every 100 years, and with that they grow a new tail. So you've probably heard of the fox of 9 tails, and in Korean it's a gumiho. So it's a very spiritual creature. So the box is that big, and on the back is illustrations. Okay, and the box is pretty simple. Good job it's got thumb holes to pull apart, like so. So it's a wonderful oracle deck. There you go. So, and this is the book that you get with it. I'm just going to move that just over here. So the booklet is this thick, and a lovely fox on the back. Lucy Cavendish, and the artist Meredith Dillman, is it? Meredith Dillman, yeah. So she'll explain in this lovely oracle a bit about the history about the 9-tailed fox and how it can transform into being humans, and all objects after they've been around for 100 years will do that. So there are a few spreads in the front, and the one that's very much in keeping with this book is the 9-tailed spread. So that goes from birth to kind of transformation. And in it is the pages with the illustrations and just a blurb about what it's all about. This is a wonderful oracle, and she's just fantastic, Lucy. And she doesn't always use the same artist, but the artists that she does use, I think, are just wonderful. So many great artists, especially in Australia. I keep saying that, don't I? So all that light in Australia, it's just a wonderful aspect. So there you have it. Foxfire. So let's do a run through of the cards. The cards are that big, nice and big, very glossy, and on the back you have 2 foxes. Okay, beautiful. And that is demonstrated in one of these cards of the galaxy of the fox. So Eastern meets fox meets wonderful spirituality. So let's run through these gorgeous cards. So the first one is the richness within. So you got this lovely lady here with all the foxes coming through. So that's beautiful, very colourful, very apt. So a little girl can hold that. And then acceptance, a wonderful card of acceptance. Accepting the situation. Alright. A lovely era that is portrayed in these cards, very delicate. So, traditionally Japanese, the tea ceremony, where the whole point of the tea ceremony was being very in the moment, watching the tea boil, steeping the tea, and all the gorgeous tea sets, and the walk through the garden as you go to the tea house. So if you've ever been to Eastern world, some of the tea houses and some of the tea are really expensive, but the whole ceremony of tea is just beautiful. Lovely era. Beautiful. Oh, get upset. It's just wonderful. So we have Call Forth the Waves. Oh yeah, I thought I can't count them, but why are we on 4? Call Forth the Waves. So this is a great card to really utilise your emotions and your situations. Beautiful. So we have the golden moment. This is extremely important in her explanations of the golden moment. It's very fleeting moments. So it's, of course, very zen again, living in the moment, but appreciating that beautiful instant. Because it's gone. Where did that go? I was just appreciating those things that are precious at the time, but they're very fleeting. And these are the moments that we can live for and base our memories on. Rare knowledge. Rare knowledge. It is indeed. So beautiful. And then this is a very important aspect within this oracle part, past lives. She mentions in the book that it's more not so much of past lives, but living in a different era, the Victorian times, whether that was good for you if you lived in that time or not. So it was very harsh for some people who were in poverty, but for the rich it was okay. And those times were maybe simple, maybe not. But honouring that is really special. This card, oh my goodness, the gift of connection. Gorgeous, very healing, very gentle, just mentioning what we're connected to and what circumstances are we connected. And this card says, if you get it, it's about teachers. So it's very much in line with the King of Cups, really. So that connection. Next we have hope. So you can see these are very gentle cards and very serene. When, you know, people, when they lived in this era, in these circumstances, they had all day to do everything. Just wander in your lovely garden, contemplating life, a bit like the monk. So it's okay if you live in that top end, but as I said, when you live in the poor and you have to really work really hard, it's hard. But we can hope for a gentler, peaceful life. Grace. This, stunning, isn't it? Isn't this girl, Meredith, wonderful? Absolutely beautiful. Captured every single brush stroke that she's utilised. And you can see this is extremely grateful, using the Japanese red, what are they called? It's just slipped my mind. But seeing them in a pair is really good for prosperity, and is a symbol of Japanese hope. The stalk, red on there, the red stalk or whatever it's called. Oh, completely, I've got dementia. So anyway, they portray that, and it is good for prosperity, never mind grace. Beautiful. And live in Hokkaido anyway. Right, where are we? Be still a while. This is just staying in the time of winter, passing through the gate of heaven and your situations is really beautiful. So it is, isn't it? Just lovely. So now we can't have a beautiful Japanese card without having these gorgeous blossoms. Sunlight after darkness. So that's showing you that light is always at the end of the tunnel, and when we've been through a very bad patch, there is always a positive. There's always change, isn't there? It's a bit like the Wheel of Fortune there. And spring is always around the corner. The seasons just come and go. Now you'll love this card. It's fleeting beauty. Those things that don't last a long time, but it is gorgeous when it happens. Spring festival blossoms. Oh, lovely. And the awakening, the golden dragon. Wow, that's gorgeous. The golden dragon. The sentinel. This is a card that portrays a knowingness about what we need to do in the future. So it's been like pre-warned. So it's quite a good card for a lot of people. A bit like the Tower really, isn't it? We know what's coming. Hopefully. Time to restore. So that's gently sleeping, contemplating and meditating. Now we have this growth card, the growth. Springtime, light energy. To dance with joy. My little kitten's called Joy. The creation of light. Saying about the flowers coming to blossom and showing their light. We all need to realise our light, the light potential. The garden of the night. Saying how special the moonlight is upon a garden. And you can read in quite a lot about that. About night insects, the moths, and also the night-scented flowers. There are a lot. So things do happen in the garden at night. And hedgehogs and badgers come out and all sorts of things. And you will see your foxes. So in this particular pack it just say bond with a fox space. Where I live we've got a few foxes wandering around. I'm sure everyone does. If you live in the country with foxes. Not everyone does. Watch and listen carefully. Very important. Watch and listen. And we've got this immortality. Again, having time to swing on a bough and have a talk to the birds. Do you get the feeling they didn't have any stress in their life when they did this? Born with a gift. It says how ravens are one of those spiritual birds that know a lot of aspects. So when you get this card, you can get those intuitive messages coming through, or at least messages in general. Delight. This card mentions music and the flute and all sorts of things within this particular card. So again, when we have that spiritual vibration, we are vibrating higher up the ladder, so to speak. Make a wish. Make a wish. And tending the future. So everything needs a plan. So this is about tending the future. What we do now is a step in the right direction for what we do for our futures. And empowerment. Oh, so that's good, isn't it? Transcendence. Right, this is the card I was telling you, which is on the back. It's when the fox has all its 9 tails, it can go to many dimensions. And it carries, what this particular fox does is carry a nice pearl ball, and it can put all its energy in there. So when it has transcended all those areas that it needs to do, it can move through time, space, dimensions. So it's almost like the spirit, isn't it? So this is a very spiritual card if you get this in your particular reading. It's lovely, isn't it? Aww. Rituals and offerings. This is a very special card. It says go to a sacred place, gather with your friends and tribe, together in harmony. So it can mean religion, it can mean spirituality, just coming together to honour nature in itself. So, willing entanglement. Beautiful. So that's a very yin card. And now we have a time to walk alone. So this is quite a sad card in a way. It just portrays that even the people we love and trust, sometimes we do have disagreements. So it's up to us to empower ourselves previously. So when these things kind of happen, we can have the strength to see if it's useful in our life or not. And then we come to find a place to withdraw to, whether that's inside in meditation, your own home, or somewhere special where no one's going to bother you at all. Sometimes we have to move away from home to find our peace. So we all need alone time, but happy with our alone time, not the previous card. Leave behind what is no longer you. An essential card for most people when they're on a spiritual journey. And the FOXFIRE has to learn this. But to be fair, it already knows this. Humans need to learn this. It's amazing how much a human will hang on to stuff that they no longer need. We all do it, surely. So, beauty of age. This is a very important card. It's saying about how some cultures really honour young youth, but in the FOXFIRE they honour wisdom of age, and the kitsune is very old. Well, especially if you come across a fox with 9 tails, if you're lucky to see that, then you know they've lived for 1,000 years at the very least. So age is very important. We gather our learning experiences with us and hopefully teach them to others. The noble one, the iris. Nobility is not just about being born in royalty. So now we have memories of the forgotten self. So some things we do forget, are the positive things that we forget. So maybe a childhood memory that was so happy, so graceful. So sometimes it's important to reconnect with something we were so good at in the past, and maybe we've become too busy to get back to that. But yeah, remembering about who we are from the past in a positive light. Sharing your wisdom. Oh. So equally important is sharing your wisdom, what you've learnt. A little friendly advice sometimes never goes amiss. So what do you think of the artworks? I love it. Male energy, bringer of change. So we've got a bit of male energy here of the bringer of change. Things always do have to change, and they do anyway, naturally. So if we don't change with the change, then what does that mean? Are we stagnant? Are we in disbelief? Are we going against the flow of time, space and energy? We always have to accept change because it just happens anyway. So I like this card. Bringer of change. Beneath the surface. No explanation needed for that. Threshold. Ooh, that's a good one, isn't it? Everyone likes a good threshold. Doors opening, doors closing. Still a threshold. But you can see all those butterflies transforming behind her. What's behind that door? And threefold protection. So we all need protection. So hopefully you're well protected. Always remember to protect yourself psychically, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally. So now we have the shadow dancer. Wow, in the shadows we dance. Got to have light to have a shadow, remember? There you go. Yin and yang. And now we have the FOXFIRE. Very special indeed. Oh, if you get this card, yeah, very special. Gorgeous. And follow the signs. This lady, or FOXFIRE, she's the fox has transformed into a human, and they're making their own magic fire. So, watch out. The possibilities are endless when you can do that. Here we go. Coming of age. Oh, nine-tailed fox. Very special. Ooh, very special. I should imagine there's only a very few people who see this, so I'll be very interested to see how many people see it in a reading. I will be using these cards in the Fairy Blessings weekly readings that I do use. So look out for that in coming weeks and months ahead, because I do have a lot of fairy decks that I'm going to use. But I am so in love with this pack, and I think Lucy Cavendish is wonderful, and the artists that she uses, divine, absolutely divine. So there you have it. I really do hope you love these cards as much as I love them, and we'll see you again in the next reading review. Do take care. Lots of love.